Hello, I am CouchCube and you have reached another episode of Have They Sorted Out Cyberpunk 2077 yet? Jesus Christ, what a great question. I have been hacked and away for 2 months, so this is a review of patch 1.22 and 1.21. Okay, 2.2 was a hotfix for barely nothing. It was tiny, but it's this other stuff we need to look at. And oh my god, I mean, you never could do this before. That is totally what we needed. I mean, you know, we'll get to the car stuff in a minute, but you couldn't roll the cars because you couldn't write the cars before, but now that's been put in. And we've had some AI adjustments with the police and stuff. I'll get to that in a minute. But this game just still amuses me. You know what, right? The red engine is actually quite advanced. That guy's arm got caught in there because of a grenade. It glitched in and there was a damage number on it and everything. We're so close to having such a wicked game here. It's just the comedy just keeps coming. And of course, they had the hack. I had a hack. Man, that blew my life apart. I can only imagine what it was like over at CD Projekt Red. All the good people get hacked. I don't need to cover in too much detail the overall performance of the game, because if you're playing this on the PlayStation 5 or if you've seen some of my previous videos, they have actually done quite a good job in sorting out some of the awful graphical glitches that we were seeing. You know, there's no T-posing anymore, there's no spontaneous combustion from cars, and combat is actually genuinely quite fun. But I had to get a PlayStation 5 to actually call it fun, because on that base level PlayStation 4 or even on the Pro, it was still being proper weird. Now it feels like an actual video game. And let's get to the AI, because that patch was talking about the police. All they've done is increase that radius on your crime. That's not enough. We need to be chased in cars by those bloody robot things, Decepticons. We've got a gun that's in midair. So at this point, I thought I'd killed him. Then he jumps up, stuff like that. You know, it's like, whoa, what are you doing?
Keep it together.
But to be fair, I am getting pushed. I am taking cover. Before I was just like the Terminator, just walking down the street, people ignoring the police, grenades flying past my head. Nothing was going right for the AI at any point during a conflict before those previous patches. I'm talking like 1.1, I'm talking way back. And we're on month 7, I think 8 of launch of this game. And I think if we didn't have that hack on them, they may have given us a bit more in these recent patches.
For real? This is bullshit!
Now that car pulling up like that, I don't know if that's pure coincidence that I've never had one of the gang members do that for me. Can you put something in the comments? Because I'm pretty sure I saw that before, but it just didn't involve me. It may have been happening with some gang rivalry or maybe a scripted scene, I'm not sure. But let's get back to it and let's talk about the ragdoll physics and just how much fun I'm kind of having actually genuinely getting in cover, using different weapons, seeing all the bullets flying around and just getting some comedy poses out of the dead people. Coop, can we talk cars? Yes, we can. Now, this is one of the things that was in the latter patches. It was one of the glaring errors. I wouldn't call it an error, but it was just that blatantly they put a template on all of the performance, on all of the vehicles, and they do still go really slow. Nothing really goes above 60 to 100 miles per hour in this game because they just can't feed that map through the engine quick enough. I'm pretty convinced that's what it is, but I do love the rockiness of them. They feel like they've got weight now. You can use that handbrake properly, you can swing it out. There is consequence to driving like a dickhead. So there's some more fun to be had there, but that is really something they should have approached a while ago. So we touched on it earlier, and it was of course self-writing the vehicle. One of the funniest reviews or reviewers of this game was Angry Joe. In the opening 16 minutes of his playthrough, he managed to roll his car and couldn't get it back over again. Ensued the spoiled child screaminess that makes that channel what it is, and probably they thought, well, Christ, if at least 1.2 million people saw that review, they probably wanted to get on the case and sort that out.
Perdóname, por favor.
Now let's talk about something else. the NPC AI, which is quite interesting in this game because it was extremely lackluster from the get-go, and it's been something stipulated in the patch notes that they've given them a few more animations, tried to make them a little bit more intelligent. This is interesting, this one. There's a big group of people, there's a gang in the middle that are kind of, I'm going to kill, and I do a netrunner thing, and the sparks sort of set off. A bunch of the NPCs disappear, but some of them don't. They remain until I pull out a firearm and actually shoot them, which was interesting. So there's a layeredness to how frightened they are. I also kept my eye on for a while. It's really crazy. They sort of return to that spot and then, you know, engage the dancing animation. It's mad to see the gang members fighting with each other. Again, I don't quite remember loads of that in the early stages of this game. That might have been pumped in a bit more. There seems to be a bit more rivalry with them. Are these patches, or has this patch changed anyone's lives? Certainly not mine. I was very eager to get back into the game after seeing 2 patches that close together. The most recent talks about better data management on the PlayStation 5, which is interesting. This is the guys returning to their dance spot, but some of them didn't. I mean, I think I might be reading too much into this. I hope that this game gets on the case with some of its AI, and even more with the police thing. I can't believe they tried to sell us some improvement on the police when you can just basically do anything and then just drive off and go back and do anything and then just drive off. Get a permanent wanted system. Have it have impacts on the quests. What is the point of having cool cars in a sandbox game if there is no pursuit? You could at least get one of those flying things to shoot the shit out of your car. You couldn't even return fire. It would just make it interesting that you don't die. You have to escape a radius. I've already pitched this before. I am available for meetings. You may have heard me say this before, but this is my take on the situation, or kind of what happened. In the early stages of development, this game had one of the best teams on the world working on it. And to build that map and to make everything look the way it does and to have all that detail everywhere was not a small task. And I think slowly that team dissipated. A lot of the coding and manufacturing of the game became unreachable to the new people, and that's that distance that you see, that's that non-connective tissue you see between really bad AI, a shallow police system, but then you go beneath that and you see this wealth of art and beautiful references and amazing detail on so much stuff. It's criminal that the two can't be married up, and it's obvious through these patches that they just can't reach that gold dust that was laid at the foundations of this game. NCPD! What you see in here is a classic amalgamation of these complaints. A bad AI system, the passenger or the driver hasn't got out of the car, it's glitched out. That policeman I helped, but he switched on me after the mission had finished. We're not there, is the short answer. But the long answer is, there's massive potential to be. So stay tuned, guys. I've been Couch Coop. I'll be there!